Welcome to Laugh, Cry, or Die, a comedy disability podcast hosted by Steve Wilbury and Naomi Strain. We suck at life, so you don't have to.
You're welcome.
With us doing it for you, you can just be successful and we'll just eat crap all day, every
Things are
day.
broken already, so might as well just load it up, load it on.
Yeah, I think, we can be like suffering donkeys.
Yeah, we're doing good for the
Is that a thing?
community. We
Yeah,
can't do
yeah.
much, but we can do that.
We're trying to work off our medical debt.
Yeah, and balance things out in the world.
Balance things out in the world. How are you, Naomi? How's your week been?
Actually pretty good. Yeah, it's I think since last we spoke, which we missed one session. I think we had 3 seizures. One of them was quite a biggie, but I've been pretty good this last sort of 10 days. Actually saying that 3 seizures in 10 days, that's still probably not ideal.
No,
But yeah,
that's
not
more than the number you really want.
yeah, more than I'd like, but comparatively pretty good going. One of them was a pretty decent one. I think the last time we spoke, I'd just had surgery on my ankle. Have I
Oh
told you?
yeah.
Yeah, and the seizures on the
Maybe
operating
tell,
table.
maybe tell the listeners
Pardon
because
me?
I don't think we didn't tell we haven't told the listeners.
Oh, okay. So I had surgery on my ankle to remove the hardware from when I broke it. And every time I have surgery, I have a seizure on the operating table. And I've told them this, and every time it happens, they seem surprised. So I told them, but apparently I was they'd done most of it. I think they might have finished stitching me up. I was still on the table, but still fully unconscious, and had some seizures, and so they drugged me on top of the crap that I was already on. Stopped the seizure for about 20 minutes, and then I carried on, and so they gave me some more drugs. The problem then was the hospital that I was at, their doctors clock off at the end of the day, so there was going to be no one there to look after me, and so I had to get shipped off to the main hospital and stayed there for a bit of time, before getting kicked out the next day, on crutches. So that was that little adventure. Oh, but I'll tell you what was weird is when I woke up on the ward, they had all my stuff, because obviously I was, in hospital gown and that. Had all my stuff was in a paper bag, and next to it was another paper bag of some clothes. And I had a look and I thought that they're not my belongings. And from where I'd been in ED, there was somebody else's belongings that they'd brought up with me. And those clothes were cut up, which means that somebody was wearing them, was taken into ED and had them cut off them for,
Yeah,
keeping
for
alive
medical
business.
reasons.
And it's like,
Yeah,
so I was rummaging through this bag, kind of confused, going, is this my stuff? And I thought, I don't want to touch it anymore, because that could be a dead person or a bleeding person. That was kind of
it's
gross to find.
yeah. No, that's weird.
Yeah, it
That
was
at
weird.
least there didn't. Oh man, that's
Yeah,
crazy. 'Cause we got a washing machine. Bear with me,
well
from the
done.
hospice shop.
Hmm.
Sorry, not a washing machine, a dishwasher from the hospice shop. And I noticed that someone had like highlighted the right setting on the dishwasher that like was the right one to go to, and in the instruction book they'd underlined all the important parts like
Uh,
really old people do. And
yeah,
then I was looking at this gleaming, and I was like, this is a dead person's washing machine.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of cool because you would have got it cheap.
Yeah, no, it was just bargain. It was like $30 for a dishwasher. It's
Wow,
amazing. I've been a dishwasher for 5 years, so
you're so
having a robot
flexible.
that does your dishes.
Yeah, yeah. Let me move.
Oh, how very.
I should just lounge. Paint me like one of your French ladies. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's much better. I think. I don't know if I can watch this screen. I feel like I need to start sending you money
Yeah, I am closed. Let's change
for
that.
now until I send you some money. sign up for a private gold show.
That's on the Patreon. So it's one time I ran from the hospital while still drugged and kind of came around on the main road very confused and quite scared. I was still very high from their drugs. And I called 111 on myself and just said, I think I need some help. And she said, where are you? And I don't really know. And I was very panicky. And so she just asked a bunch of questions like, what can you see? Whereabouts? You know, how far have you walked? Made me walk to a letterbox and look at the number so she could find me. And then one of the paramedics, he said that he'd driven past and saw me sitting on the side of the road and thought, should I stop and give her a lift home? And then thought, no, I know how independent she is. She'll just say no. So he drove to the hospital, and then as he got there, heard it come over the radio, mystery female needs rescuing, or something along those lines. He was like, I know where she is. So he drove and picked me up, and I had, during the seizure, had peed myself, so they'd clothed me. And so in a wonderful pair of leggings and a lovely jumper. And as he collected me and put me in the car, he went, nice dead person's clothes. Yeah, they're so professional with me. And then when they got me to the hospital, I was in the cubicle and he was chatting to his wife, who was one of the nurses, and he just turned and looked at me and said, you look like shit. And told him to get fucked. And it's that's kind of the nice side of the interactions with paramedics, because obviously there's a lot of shitty interactions, but when you can just be like normal humans rather than just, you know, you're a job or a number, it's kind of, the human side, it's quite nice. I don't know if everyone would, you know, see that, the personal side rather than just the, you know, business side. But I think that's really important.
It's a relationship, isn't it? You know, if you see someone that often and in that many extreme situations, you're going to have a rapport, like an understanding.
Yeah, you know? I think it does affect stuff. I mean, and it's quite nice that when they do come to my house, that they can let they can let the professionalism slide a little. Like, they don't have to watch their language, they can be a bit more relaxed. I was chatting to, 2 days ago, I had one at home, and I was chatting to them, and they said that one of the times that they drugged me and they had a third person with them, and I have to be really careful not to name drop so I get people in trouble, that he sat there playing the guitar whilst the other pair drugged me and did all that stuff, because he wasn't needed at that point. They were you know, looking after me, so it was like being serenaded whilst getting drugged, which is quite nice. Yeah, the same guy, actually. He one night, it was during a night shift, and I'd come around and everything was good, and me and the girl medic, we were showing each other YouTube videos. We just, you know, chilling out, showing each other the videos, and he sat on the sofa and he had his hands behind his head and his feet up on the footstool, and then he suddenly went, oh shit, I'm at work, and it started to doze off on the sofa. And I love that sort of stuff. It's like, if you can be that chilled at my place, and people have kind of made the most of it. Like, when they turn up to me, it's often pretty bog standard. Like, they know what's going to happen. They're going to come in, they're going to either drug me, or I'm going to come around and they'll get me back to normal. They kind of know what to expect. And, you know, sometimes, yes, I stop breathing, and sometimes, yes, I'm injured. But generally, it's like, yeah, we know, nay. And so I've had people use me for getting out of conference calls. They're like, oh, if we just hang around here for like another 15 minutes, we'll get out of that call. Or people who are nearly at the end of their shift, and if they hang around with me a bit longer, they won't get another job and they'll get to finish work on time.
You.
I know, right? One guy, we were planning what we would do in the zombie apocalypse. Like, where would you go? What would be your first things? And I had wanted to go to the cinema and hook up like a PlayStation to the big screens. I thought that'd be a good way to pass the time, you know, while zombies did their thing. But we were in the middle of planning this, and they got a call through the radio, you know, to check up on how far along we were and when they could leave. And he said, like, oh, it's still on scene, probably be another, 15 or so minutes. And then shut the radio off and then, right, where were we? And we carried on. And he had a really good point, is that we would go to the fire station because they've got the tower. So you got a good vantage point, and you've got your high pressure hoses, as blast things away. You've got a good stock of food, and you've got things like axes and big vehicles and that. It's a
Oh
really
God,
good
fire
point.
station is way the smart place to go in a zombie
It really is.
apocalypse.
And like big gates, and yeah. So
Yeah.
you're welcome
Well,
to
now
join
we know.
us.
Okay,
But
well, I will make sure to join you make sure you don't shoot me as I'm coming up, because sometimes I shuffle kind of like a zombie.
well, I was gonna say, don't do a trick and go, oh, it's me, Steve. Go, come on, are you a zombie or are you just being rubbish?
You got the dinosaur arms going up and we're like shuffling along, dragging one leg. I do look quite zombie-ish, kind of
Yeah.
getting
It's all
tilt
right.
on.
It's not a zombie. It's just Steve. No, but the thing is, with you, I wouldn't know. You'd be at the gates going, "It's just me. It's Steve," and we'd let you in. And you go, trick chat, humph, and you would actually be zombie.
I am. They do call me the sneaky zombie. I had my week was I'm going through kind of a slightly terrifying doing pretty okay phase as well.
Wow.
When you're like, I've done lots of stuff and I'm not completely falling apart and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop and for something horrible to go wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I did have a colonoscopy.
Oh, nice. How was that?
Well, I went in to the hospital and I said, I'm here for a colonoscopy. And the nurse goes, excellent, wonderful. I said, is it though? And she stops and she's like, no, no, it's not really, is it?
No.
No, it's not. But I went because I don't have a colon, it's not a colonoscopy, it's technically a pouchoscopy. So they have a
Right.
look around the J pouch. And the doctor comes through and he's like, right, it's very simple. I just need to have a check around the suture line where your butthole connects. He didn't say that, but that's where he's at.
Yeah.
And then introduce the scope, have a look around, in and out. Well, probably won't even sedate you. And I was like, I would like the drugs. I've had more of these than I've had hot dinners. Like
Yeah. If,
I
if
don't
someone's going near, generally, you want to be on drugs if someone's going near your butt.
with a tube like that's 10 centimeters thick, you know? Like it's
10
is it
centimeters
no,
thick.
no, that would be a sex toy, not a medical
That's
device.
quite an extreme sex toy. Yeah.
So
No,
for your
I've got to stop
procedure
picturing
today, we're
that.
gonna destroy your asshole.
Yeah,
Just
you're already destroyed inside. Let's just go for it. What's the worst that can
let's
happen?
just rip a
Just
bloody gaping
punch
hole in
this
your
up,
butt.
yeah.
No, so they use the slightly smaller than 10 centimeter tube to take pictures, but and the doctor was totally cool. He was like, yeah, you have a right to request sedation, can totally understand. So I'm talking to the anesthetist and I said, I would like the all of it, the whole syringe. Like, don't get stingy on me. I don't want to
Yeah,
remember this. He's like,
yeah,
well, give me some. We've always got more. And he gave me the first like lot, and he was like, right, you just start to feel sleepy in a minute or two. And then he came back 5 minutes later, and he's like, anything? I was like, nah, didn't touch the sides. I've got a pretty high tolerance,
yeah.
which I believe he took as a personal challenge because that is the last thing I remember
Right.
until waking up in the recovery room and then
So is
coming
it
home
is
and
it
sleeping
just
for another 4 hours.
is it supposed to be sedation just to take the edge off, or is it like general anesthetic?
It's not, they don't put you, your lungs can still work by themselves. One of the things they do give you is Rehypnol. So you
Right.
get date raped in your butt.
Yeah. Like we say, if someone's going near your butt, you want all the drugs.
You want, like, yeah, just, I don't, it can happen. I just don't want to remember it. I don't want it in my brain
You're such a
because,
good time girl.
yeah, I know, right? Just what happens, happens. Just don't get me involved.
Consent is key.
Indeed.
I'm
And I
hoping
did
you
sign a
signed.
consent form. I
Excellent.
did. I did sign the consent. I said,
Read the
you may
small
roofie
print.
me. Yeah.
Being the small print, he agrees to 10 centimeter tubes up his ass.
Ugh. what's crazy is, so because they're so kind, they give you the report with the pictures of the inside of you.
Mm.
And on some of them, the camera's like looking back on itself, and you can see the
See the
tube
doctor
like,
smiling.
yeah, it's like, the whole team's like, hey, group photo out of Steve's asshole.
New profile pic.
Oh my God. Can you imagine that? There's gotta be some kind of porn of that
Yeah.
somewhere.
Oh, see, I did tell the surgeon when I had an appointment with her just to follow up. And I asked her what she did while I was unconscious, because my ankle was open up both sides. And I was like, did you poke your finger right through the middle? You know, because I would. And she was like, no, of course not. And I was like, I would be a nightmare if I had an unconscious person in front of me.
You what? You date rape them?
No,
You sex criminal?
no, I wouldn't do. I was going to say I wouldn't do anything illegal, but I guess messing around with an unconscious person is probably illegal. I wouldn't do anything.
Yes,
I
yes,
wouldn't.
it is
No, it's
illegal.
obviously. I mean, more things like, I don't know, making their arms like puppet dance. You know, I just wouldn't be particularly respectful. Hence, why I'm not a medical professional.
This is why. This is the one reason Naomi's not a surgeon,
Yeah, the
because
only
she
reason.
can't stop just mucking around with unconscious people. Stop
Yeah, I
painting
mean, like,
toenails. Stop painting their toenails.
yeah, well, I'd want my patients to wake up with a full face of makeup, you know, the guys included, or like draw a knob on their forehead, and you know, it would be
You know,
fun.
good times.
You got to brighten up the day somehow.
Can
Anyway, we
you
were talking about
imagine?
your ass. Get back to your asshole.
So what, you're gonna draw a dick on my arsehole?
Yeah.
I was thinking butt plug with a selfie camera in it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a market.
I say plug, I mean 10 centimeter crystal tube. So then you could see through the crystal while you're inside. This is
Oh,
who's gonna listen to this podcast?
this is going down a dark path,
This is
said the
horrid.
doctor with the colonoscopy. Going down Steve's dark path.
Well, what's funny is the tube has little headlights because it is dark in there.
Oh, it's like one of the ROVs going down to the Titanic.
Yeah, yeah, except instead of the Titanic, it's my arsehole.
Yeah, comparable.
Yeah.
In that deep dark abyss.
Potatoes, potatoes, corpses of rich people. Because I've eaten the rich. See what I did there?
Oh, it's made me snort laugh. Uh, so,
Uh,
what did they find?
they actually found no traces of chronic pouchitis,
Wow.
which is a disease that I have had. Every other colonoscopy I've had since forever
Mm.
has had chronic pouchitis in it. And I was only this year probably that I've really gotten a handle on it with, I use a kefir and apple cider vinegar, which is a very old lady way
Yeah,
of
yeah.
doing it. But yeah, it's really helped. And I've really realized how much of my other struggles have probably been because of how much the pouchitis is kicking everything else into drive.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, so the pouchitis is where you get an imbalance inside your, you know your microbiome. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You
Uh,
good
I
bacteria.
have a yeah, I have a pouch microbiome, and if it gets fucked up, then it really like messes with everything.
Right, right.
Traditionally, in my pouch, it has just been messed like not great, pretty much
Just
permanently. And
dirty
yeah,
old
so I
mess.
fixed it. Yeah, with yogurts and vinegar.
It's like home remedies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because normally what they do for acute pouchitis is they give you antibiotics,
Mm,
which just nukes everything.
yeah.
Um, but then the antibiotics stopped really working. I don't know if it's just for whatever reason.
Mm,
And somebody on one of the ulcerative colitis forums, I can't remember how I got onto it. But it was that, and then I just grabbed the kefir at the supermarket one day. Just thought I'd give it a shot, and yeah,
yeah.
it seems to work. Bit of both, and it's fine. It does mean I have to drink a glass of diluted vinegar before dinner, which isn't very fun. But
Yeah, yeah. But do you think that in general is going to help? Like, if you keep on doing that? Are you going to feel a lot better, like
I
long
think I'll feel a
term?
lot less like I have chronic pouchitis. I have a pet theory that because I don't have a large intestine and because I don't have a normal person's microbiome, that there are a lot of health consequences that I'm not even really aware of, and
Right.
that like what I should be eating and doing and stuff. There's probably all kinds of stuff that I'm still not doing up like right.
Mm,
Um, because I do eat, crap and stuff. I eat a lot less than I used to because for a long time it was like I would get my endorphins for feeling good from eating food that made me feel good.
right. Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
I eat shitty food, I'll get that burst of endorphins and that'll be a way for me to feel good. But then, if you have too much shit, then that impacts your pouch and your gut health and everything.
It's hard because when things are kind of just, I don't know, shitty in general, you've got to take that, the pleasures, the small pleasures where you can get them. And it's hard
Mm,
when those small pleasures might be ones that exacerbate the stuff that's making you feel shit in the first place. It's like,
exactly.
to, like an extent with alcohol, if I drink, chances of me having a seizure are quite a lot higher, you know,
Mm,
especially if I get hammered. And I used to drink a hell of a lot more. And yeah, it would, bring on seizures. So it changes your seizure threshold. So now I very rarely drink. Um, but it was one of the things that gave me, like you say, that good hit of feel good. And
yeah,
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 it's kind of, yeah, you're not doing yourself any favors, but you kind of feel like you don't just want to sit around being miserable. It's like you need that hit somehow, and trying to
yeah.
find a healthy hit it can be kind of
They're
difficult.
rubbish. There's a reason no one's like super addicted to eating carrots and
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, people do get addicted to like cleansing juices and going to the gym and stuff, but it's much harder and it's a much longer road to really program in that, oh no, when I go to the gym, I do feel better, you
yeah.
know?
See, I
Um,
am gym addicted because if I don't go, I feel awful, like as in guilty. And I know
mm,
that going to the gym is really healthy for me mentally. Like I go there for the mental benefit as opposed to the physical. Any physical is a bonus. Um, but even though I'm addicted, I still, every time I go, every day, it's like, oh God, I'm gonna go to the gym. And even whilst I'm there, it's like, oh, I just do one more exercise and lie to myself until the workout's over. So
mm,
it's not as much as I do enjoy it, and I do have to go as often as I can, or I mean, I go most days. Um, it's not a fun addiction, like being addicted to, I don't know,
cocaine,
to cocaine. Yeah, wonderful
fun.
time. Yeah.
No one's ever had a bad time being addicted to cocaine. It's gone well for everyone.
Nobody ever, like, we're advocates for everyone who gets addicted to cocaine has an amazing, wonderful time.
Yeah, it's
Everybody.
brilliant.
There's literally no downside.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I've never been addicted to cocaine. There's always a
No,
first time. Let's
I
work on
think maybe we should. I think you know what I think. Here's my theory, right? So if you hit your shelf life and you turn 50, right?
that.
We'll spend 6 months in Europe just getting fucked up on everything and get
I
addicted. Yeah,
reckon. I've
yeah.
always thought if I reached 80, which I won't, so I'll be dead long before that. But if I reached 80, totally taking heroin,
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah,
what's the worst that can happen? And on a pension, you're not going to be able to afford too much. And,
yeah.
it's supposed to be quite nice. People seem to enjoy it.
It's great. No, I've had diamorphine, which is heroin, in hospital a number of times,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's fucking brilliant. It's
Yeah. Well, I
great.
mean, I'm a fan of codeine. I'm a fan of morphine. When
Yeah, no, you'll love it.
yeah.
You'll be chasing the dragon. You'll love it.
I just picture a wonderful old folks home. I mean, you think nowadays, like now that like dope is legal, or less frowned upon, so many more people are open about smoking. The old folks' homes nowadays are going to be brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's like the things that they always play. They play the music from when the old people were young. So they'll
Yeah,
be like banging psytrance and that going in the old folks' home and sit around playing video games all day, getting
getting
high
high.
off legal whatever future drugs there are.
Yeah,
Well,
future drugs. It's going to be amazing.
that's gonna be my band name, Future Drugs.
But yeah, no, that would be fun.
Yeah. So
I had
maybe you do when you get old.
during one seizure, I was given not seizure, sorry, during one I broke my leg and I was given ketamine.
Mm,
And there's like two views on ketamine. You love it or you hate it. And
mm.
I loved it. I only had it once and it was brilliant. Like everything was hilarious. I was hilarious. Nobody could actually understand what I was saying, but I remember laughing at everything I said. And yeah, it was fantastic. Like if they ever offered me ketamine again, I'd be like, yes, please. Nom nom nom. Lovely.
I had a ketamine infusion when I had my neck surgery, and it cured my leg pain for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And there's a thing in the States for chronic pain where you can go and get ketamine infusions, and it does fix crips for about 3 to 6 weeks. But you have to go back every 6 weeks and get another one and get another one and get
But
another one.
why don't you do that? That sounds
It's not
cool.
funded.
Uh,
Um, and the real solution to crips is monk-like adherence to a rigid schedule and reprogramming your nervous system. Like that's how you fix it.
right.
Um, like going and getting a ketamine infusion, you're still doing the same bad habits, but
Right.
you're
Right.
just kind of sticking a plaster over it, and then after 6 weeks, your nervous system starts to leak again. You know.
Right.
Having said that, it'd be nice, like even it's you got to live your life, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when you go through pain camp and you learn how to cure this, and it's like you have a purple plan and you've got what you do in your morning, what you do in the afternoon, what you do in the evening, and you've got it all written out, and you've got your coping, and you got this and that, and your life is this order. But that's not how life works.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you can get rid of one thing, but then all you're doing is sitting with that, with a very stagnant life.
Mm,
Like if my way
exactly.
of getting rid of my seizures was just to sit in my lounge and do nothing, what's the point in that?
Well, yeah, I mean it's not quite that bad, but it's like, with our lives, it's if I was rich and I didn't have to try and earn any money and I could just like literally have that be my job,
Yes.
then I
Yeah.
could probably swing it a lot better. But even, you know, with what we've got, I'm still 1,000 times better than I was before I went to pain camp. Like apples and oranges, like completely different person.
Yeah.
Um, I just still, I do get pain flares and I do have bad times, but one of the things that they really kind of imparted in pain camp is that having ups and downs, it's part of the journey. Like my final report from pain camp was like that Steve's had a really good progress through this. He's done really excellently. He's come along leaps and bounds, but he needs to remember that falling is part of it, that
Right.
you'll go up and then you'll fall over and then you'll go up and then you'll fall over, and hopefully over time the severity of those ups and downs gets a little bit lesser, but it's just the nature of the beast that you do have these cycles of
Yeah.
feeling better and feeling worse.
And yeah, I think that's like similar with seizures. It's like I have seizures and feel like shit, and I have to just let myself feel shit because it will feel better the next
Mm,
day. And yeah,
yeah.
the peaks and troughs of it. And because I think, psychologically, when you're feeling shit, it'd be so easy to fall down that hole
Mm,
of just, I feel shit and I'm depressed and just keep sliding into the darkness.
yeah,
And so,
totally.
yeah, you kind of just got to allow that to happen.
Well, it's like yeah, it's when I'm having a really bad day, it's like yeah, today's shit, can't would like for this to be over. Tomorrow will be a different flavor of shit. It might be
Yeah.
chocolate, it might be mint. Um, like I had a really rough. This morning was rough. I did way too much at the weekend, and I've been doing lots of hours working and my circus job and all this stuff. And yeah, today's pretty rubbish. But after our recording, I'll go have a hot shower and have some steam and get back into my routine. And I'll feel better for having done, a modicum of housework and not being surrounded by a pit.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's kind of good. Like we have that mindfulness that a lot of people
Mm.
spend ages trying to get, through yoga or relaxation and that, and any kind of counseling or therapy. It's about getting mindfulness and living in the moment. And like
Oh,
we have to
100%.
do that because that's how you get through the day. It's like I've added the phrase right now or at the moment
Mm.
to
Yeah.
most of my
Totally.
things in life. It's like, yeah, I'm feeling really crap at the moment. And it stops you then spiraling and like writing your life off before you've already got to the end of it.
Mm. And that's like that, especially with chronic pain, is like stopping that narrative spiral where
Yeah.
you're like, oh, my legs hurt and this and that, and you can just be like, well, I have a lot of sensation going on right now, and just by labeling it mentally pain, you're creating that narrative in a way that everybody does. You have to kind of create reality as you go along, but we're forced by circumstance to stop before you get very far and say, right, is this really a good narrative? Is this where I want to be? And I hate using it's I wouldn't say gift, but it's the prize we get for putting up with it is that level of mindfulness and level of control that a lot of people don't have. And
Yes.
it's something
Yeah.
I feel really strongly that it's like the difference between like pain and suffering, right? So yes, we have probably more pain than most people, but the agony, the suffering that people have day to day about wanting to keep up with the Joneses or what Marsha said about her or this or that, like all that kind of stuff is much worse in people who don't have severe
Yeah. Yeah.
conditions.
I suppose the priorities are quite different. Like if the worst thing in your life is that you don't have an awesome car
Mm.
or, like less troublesome things, which,
But I think it's
everyone's
important to
stressed.
remember that it still does cause them like
Yeah.
pain
Yeah.
and suffering. No,
Yeah.
it's
That's
it's it's not to invalidate that. Like just because they haven't had a width of experience, that's still like a struggle for them. That like, fuck, I don't have this awesome car. I'm not successful. My dad was right. All these things
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
are
Completely. Yeah. Like you say, still
just
valid.
as valid.
But
Yeah,
I think, yeah, the bonus that we have is it's forced upon us.
yeah.
And so
Like well,
you
that's
have
that's the
to.
podcast. Laugh, cry, or die.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you don't get a choice. Well, you do. You do. You can lay in a heap and not be well, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and we have our moments of that.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
again, it's a moment. Like, yes, I'm on the floor crying right now,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
know? Like
It
and
will get better. And it's easy to, like I say, it's easy to spiral and get really dark at times, but you know that it will eventually balance out again.
well that's yeah, and it's important to like, if you're in a spirally time, try not to get too involved with the spiral, but still recognize, okay, that's what's happening and that's you don't need to get too involved in the story itself, but also just let it be. You're not trying to push it away, you're not trying to change it, you're not trying to like say I shouldn't feel like this or I it's wrong, other people in Africa have it worse or this and
Yeah,
that. You're
yeah.
like, yeah, this is it,
Yes.
just gonna wait for a minute.
Yeah, and like I say, that's the thing that people try and achieve through counseling and therapy, and that is that be
Mm,
in the moment, be calm with it, allow yourself to feel the things. You
mm,
don't need to act on stuff, you don't need to fight against stuff. And I think we're quite well practiced in that. But then it's frustrating because a lot of time people say to me, "Oh, you're so resilient and you're so brave," and it's like, no, I'm not. Like it happens. It's not like me. What would be brave is me saying to somebody else, I will have your seizures for you. That's
mm,
brave because that's a choice.
mm,
Like
mm.
just having seizures and not dying, that's not brave. That's
What if okay, all right. What if you could give your seizures to someone else?
ooh, who would I give them to?
Because
So
that would make
many
you a
people.
cunt.
I would give them a share to everybody who's ever doubted me. Like while I was getting diagnosed, and yeah, the
Mm,
complications along that. Anyone who's judged me or made me feel crap, yeah, have some of
yeah.
these.
Give him a couple. I give it to politicians.
Ooh, that'd be fun. It would be good if you could do it like instantaneously, like almost like a magic wand. Like someone's doing your nut in, and you just go bam, there, fall down.
Can you imagine how much more compassion people like politicians would have for poor people if they were like, "Oh no, no, no. Here's something you can't control."
Yes, yeah. Oh, this is a fun little fantasy. I'm gonna have a great time with this.
I think what you should do is when you're looking at your New Zealand voting register, think like, who would I give a seizure to, and don't vote for that one.
Yeah, that's the benchmark.
If
Oh,
they're
that
enough
would
of a
be so
dick
much fun. That
that
would
you
be
give them a
fun.
seizure, just don't vote for that one.
Well, you're a
This
magician.
podcast supported by epilepsy.
You're a magician. You can, do wizardry. Surely you can sort something out.
No, I can't. I'm an expensive liar.
That's
There are
true. That's
that
true.
is me. Wizardry is an entirely different field of study.
Well, see, I prefer to call you a wizard than a magician. It sounds better.
Well, then you're being a liar, which is really the most magician thing there is.
True. I do enjoy saying, my friend Steve, the magician.
Yeah.
It's just cool having a magician friend. I like it.
Do you know the two requirements for becoming a magician?
I don't.
The ability to look someone in the eye and lie, and a
Hmm.
small amount of disposable income. That's it.
No skill involved in that.
Very often, not as much as you'd think. I mean, if you want to get, highfalutin about it, like there's, in terms of like a theatrical art and stuff, there is, definitely skills to it. But like the actual doing of the thing, like the sleight of hand or whatever, like it's there, and there are people who can't do any sleight of hand. They only do self-working stuff. You buy a little box, it does a thing, you lie to someone. The end.
Right. Yeah. That's fun.
It's cool. I've got a Rubik's cube that solves itself. It's amazing. Cost
I
me
haven't seen you.
$180.
I haven't seen you do any magic for a while.
Sorry?
I haven't seen you
You're,
do any magic for a while.
I've been doing it at the stand-up clubs here. I've been doing it East Street and Ruby Bay.
I suppose
I'm doing
I haven't been out for a while.
I'm
Yeah,
doing a show this Friday. You should come. Oh, you guys should. I'm doing a show at the East Street on Friday. It'll be well past by the time this gets released. But yeah, show at East Street.
I might be able to do that. Oh,
I'll put you on my door as my +1.
yeah, do that.
Cool. Dunsky. Now that we've got our social planning out of the way,
What I've done
uh,
recently is the last social thing I did. It was in a daytime, and it was Saturday, and I went to a little festival thing. There was a lot of New Zealand films, a lot of Maori films, and they finished, and I went outside and had a seizure, and apparently had seizure came around, and did that a few times, and then St. John turned up and carried on with them. They did have to drug me eventually, but I wouldn't stop. I would just have a seizure, and then I'd come around and they'd go like, okay, cool, she stopped, and then I'd have another one. And they drugged me a lot and then gave me a different drug that I'd not had before. And I remember waking up in hospital and not being able to open my eyes, like so heavily asleep, and
just
really trying.
sedated.
Oh, it was crazy. And like I've not been that awake whilst still being asleep for a long time. But I do
Mm.
remember it was actually a guy that I know, that he's a nurse in ICU, and had been called down, and they said, "Oh, this is Nay." And he's like, "Don't even bother telling me, I know all about this." And it was quite weird to be looked after by somebody who I know in real life at the hospital.
Mm.
Yeah, that was unusual. But the good thing about having a seizure outside the cinema was I've just made a short film documentary thing about the impact of seizures, like the aftermath, and it's in a film festival coming up. And so me having a seizure outside the cinema, it's like a little bit of promo. It's like a teaser trailer, like, hey, if you want to know more, come and watch my film.
You know what we should do is have like leaflets for Laugh, Cry, or Die in your pockets. So when you have seizures and then people find you and they're trying to, like,
Yeah.
then they'll be like, oh, what's this? Oh, a podcast all about this person I found on the ground. How interesting.
Yeah. Well, I've always thought like around Christmas time, I should just carry handfuls of glitter and wear like sleigh bells on my wrists, so that at least it's a little festive seizure. It's like fall down, throw
You
my
should
glitter.
you should theme all of them. Have candy for Halloween. You could
Holiday themed seizures.
holiday themed seizures. That'd be
And for
great.
Halloween, I'll just release handfuls of ghosts.
Or bats.
That seems feasible.
Yes, we'll just prove ghosts exist,
And
invent a
release them.
containment system for them, and tie them to your seizures. Done.
Well, I suppose like having the seizure itself is a bit like demon possession. So maybe
Well,
that's
that's what they used to
enough.
call it. I think it was, wasn't it? It's
Pardon
like,
me?
well, if I knew you and you were alive in the 1600s, I'd say that woman's got the devil.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's on the ground for 90 minutes and her heart rate's 210. That shit ain't right. Hail Satan.
Yeah. And a big red demon came out of my face.
That would, that would twig some eyeballs.
It'd be a valid concern. But no, I think it's because when I come out of the seizure, I'm kind of scared and staring. And apparently my eyes are like black holes because I'm just staring, not understanding what humans are, because basically my brain is just rebooted.
Brain's just not working, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like when you
self-check.
yeah, it's like when your brain comes back online, it's like it's important things of like, okay, we're breathing, we're seeing our bodies moving. And so understanding what people are is kind of further down the line of importance. So that's what it takes a bit of time to get back to normal.
Speaking of believing what I've been told, make sure that you have subscribed to our podcast on Spotify and Apple Tunes and YouTube and all the algorithm spots or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. I have to do that now. It's a thing.
I love it in
That's
your
the end
radio.
of the podcast.
It's great.
Do I have it? I have a face for radio.
You really do. But it's good. You can tell that you've been an entertainer through life, because as soon as you say those official lines, everything changes. It's like we're just chatting. Okay. We're just like normal. We're just Nay and Steve having a chat, and then it's hey, you kick into radio DJ.
Well, there's like stage Steve Wilbury, the entertainer. He's super confident and he can get anything done. And hey, I'm gonna make a tree out of some balsa wood that I found to do a magic trick because I can do that.
Yeah. See, you went into it.
Yep.
Like and subscribe.
That's him. Like and subscribe, bitches. Cool. Thank you guys so much. Hit us up on our Facebook page, Laugh, Cry, or Die. Love to hear from you. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.